So let us now discuss the questions from this chapter of reproduction in organisms. The first question is, why is reproduction essential for organisms? Why is it essential? The first thing that we said when we started this chapter, that why do organisms reproduce? They reproduce to continue their race. So it is required for continuity of the race. All organisms want that their race, their species should continue, and that is why they produce offsprings of the same kind. So this is for continuity of the race. Question number 2. Which is better mode of reproduction, sexual or asexual? Why? So now this question is asking us which out of the two methods is better. Both have its advantages and disadvantages. For example, asexual reproduction, which is uniparental, so dependence on two parents is not required, only one parent is capable of producing an offspring. In case of sexual reproduction, two individuals are required because it is biparental. So unless and until two individuals produce gametes and they fuse, this is not possible. But the benefit or the plus point which we are talking about, what gives us better offsprings? That reproduction method would be a better one for the adaptation, for survival in the nature. We have seen asexual method also and sexual method also. In sexual reproduction, there is exchange of genetic material which leads to variation. So our answer should be sexual reproduction is better. Now just writing this is not enough, because the question is why also. We have to give an explanation to this. The reason is why sexual is better, because it is better because in sexual reproduction genetic variations take place. And how do these variations help? Variations help in two ways. Variations are good for adaptation . That means if there are variations, the organism would be better adapted to the environmental condition, and when variations accumulate, it also results into evolution. So variations also lead to evolution. And that is why when we say that sexual reproduction is a better method of reproduction, these are the points which justify it. Question number 3. Why is the offspring formed by asexual reproduction referred to as clone? This is our question number 3. Offsprings produced by asexual reproduction known as clones. What is a clone? A clone is an exact copy of the other organism. Exact copy in which sense? Genetic material wise. So if a plant reproduces by asexual method, what is meant by asexual method? When a non-reproductive part is helping in reproduction, stem, root, leaf. then the cells, they divide by mitotic divisions. And mitotic division takes place, we know mitosis is equational division. So, all cells which are formed here, the new cells which are formed here, they have exactly same genetic material as that of the parent cell from where the new plants are growing. So, if newly formed cells are exactly similar to the parent cells in terms of their genetic material, then they are the copies of the parent cell, and that is why they are known as clones. So, genetically they are exactly similar to the parent cell, because parent cell is coming from the vegetative part and it is undergoing only mitotic division. So, there is no exchange of genetic material, there is no crossing over, exact same genetic material is passed on to the offsprings. Question fourth question is, offsprings formed due to sexual reproduction have better chances of survival. Why? Is this statement always true? First of all, organisms produced by sexual reproduction, do they have better chances of survival? We just now wrote here that sexual reproduction is better because it results into variations, and these variations help the organism to adapt in a better manner in the environment. So, obviously they would be better in terms of their survival rate. So, what should we write here? Offsprings formed due to sexual reproduction have better chances of survival. Why? The offsprings formed due to sexual reproduction have better chances of survival because they have undergone variations. Most of the variations make them suitable for the environment. Variations make them better, or you can say adapt better. These variations make them adapt to the environment in a better manner. Now, the last part of this question is this statement always true? It is not going to be always true. The reason is the nature normally prefers the changes, variations which are good for adaptations. In genetics, we normally talk of dominant characteristic features or dominant traits or dominant genes. Normally, nature picks the dominant one, and we know the dominant one are better, and that is where the chances of survival are also more. But rarely, if only recessive traits are selected, then the organism will be a weaker organism and it will have lesser chances of survival, but the chances are less. So, our answer should be that yes, this statement is not always true, because sometimes the variations could be unfavorable and those organisms would have lesser chances of survival. Question 5. How does the progeny formed from asexual reproduction differ from those formed by sexual reproduction? They are talking about the same thing, but the same concept is being asked in a different manner in every question. Now, how does the progeny formed from asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction? They differ. So, offsprings which are formed by asexual reproduction and by sexual reproduction. What is the basic difference? In case of organisms produced by asexual reproduction, there is no variation, no genetic material exchanged, because the division which has taken place is mitosis. So here there is no genetic variation, no genetic material exchange, no variation. In case of sexual reproduction, it has undergone mitosis and meiosis, and there is crossing over, exchange of genetic material. So here variations are seen or they are possible. In case of offsprings which are coming from asexual reproduction, they are clones of their parents, whereas these offsprings which are coming from due to sexual reproduction, they would have some characteristic features of both the parents. So they show variations. Divisions are different, they have same genetic material which is replicating all the time, whereas here exchange of genetic material takes place. So they show variations, where here they are clones basically. Question number 6. Distinguish between asexual and sexual reproduction. Why is vegetative reproduction also considered as a type of asexual reproduction? So here we have to distinguish between the two, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, only one parent or one organism is involved, so it is uniparental. In sexual reproduction, two individuals of opposite sexes are involved, so it is called biparental. In case of asexual reproduction, there is no fusion of gametes, and in case of sexual reproduction, fusion of gametes takes place. Next difference, in case of asexual reproduction, it is only mitotic divisions, and in case of sexual reproduction, it is mitosis and meiosis. Both the types of divisions take place. In asexual reproduction, the offsprings which are formed, they are exactly identical to that single parent. So offsprings identical to parent, and in case of sexual reproduction, the offsprings are different from the parent in the sense that they have mixed characters. So they have combined characteristics. So they may have some characteristics of the mother and some characteristics of the father. So in that sense, they show some combination of genetic material. Now in this question itself, there is one more part which says, why is vegetative reproduction also considered as asexual reproduction? In case of asexual reproduction, there is no sex organ. That means there is no ovary or egg production or anther or pollen production or testis or sperm production. So in this case, some structure other than the reproductive structure is helping. Now that non-reproductive structure could be a sporangium, or it could be stem, root or leaf. So basically vegetative propagation is due to or with the help of non-reproductive structures. So, it is by non-reproductive structures, or these non-reproductive structures can also be termed as the vegetative part. So, either it is a reproductive part or a non-reproductive. So, non-reproductive is also known as vegetative part. So, non-reproductive structure which is also known as vegetative part. And how would it divide? Suppose if it is taking place with the help of stem, how many plants are involved? Only one plant, its stem. So, it becomes uniparental. There is no gamete formation because it is a vegetative structure, and the division which is taking place is mitosis. So, the offspring, the new plant which will be formed is going to be exactly same as that of the parent plant, and that is a vegetative propagation is also under asexual reproduction. Question number 7. What is vegetative propagation? Give 2 suitable examples. So, vegetative propagation is reproduction with the help of a vegetative, or we can write a non-reproductive part. Let us write 2 examples by vegetative propagation by stem. We took many examples like rhizome. Rhizome is in ginger, tuber in potato. We can add many examples like runners and stolons and suckers, but let us write 2 separate vegetative parts and give examples of those. And by, say, let us take leaf, where vegetative part is leaf and it is helping in reproduction. We took the example as begonia and bryophyllum. So, vegetative propagation is, or vegetative reproduction is, when a vegetative part or which is also a non-reproductive part like stem, leaf or root helps in reproduction, and 2 examples of each. Give 2 suitable examples. Now, let us come to question 8. Question 8 says define. There are 3 terms which are given and we have to define those: juvenile phase, reproductive phase and senescence phase. So, first is juvenile phase. How do we define juvenile phase? When we were talking about the lifespan, we divided the entire lifespan into 3 phases: the juvenile, then reproductive and then senescence or aging. So, juvenile is basically growth, development of reproductive structures, and in this phase there is no power of reproduction, it is just vegetative growth which is taking place. So, growth which is normally vegetative growth. So, it is simple growth period where all organs, the size of the organism, everything is increasing or growing, but towards the end of it they would attain the power of reproduction. Then next is reproductive phase. This is the phase of life where the organism is capable of reproduction. Now, this phase may be for a shorter period of time, it could be longer also. And then third is senescence. Senescence is aging, where after reproduction, the post-reproductive phase, when aging takes place. We talked about the theories also, which are wear and tear theory, it could be genetic or mutation theory, it could be loss of metabolism theory. So, which results into aging. So, these three phases. So, what is a juvenile phase? It is a phase of life when the organism is attaining the growth part, not capable of reproduction. Reproductive phase is the phase of life where the organism is capable of reproduction. And senescence is the post-reproductive phase where slowly certain things, certain organs, their system, their activities, their functioning is decreasing, which is known as aging. Okay, next question.